When you call Land's End, 99.6% of the time, somebody answers the phone before you even hear the phone ring. Now, because we were able to do those kinds of things, 97% of the time, your order is shipped, all orders, within 24 hours. Because we were able to hardwire in reliability, we were then able to do things that differentiated the experience for customers. For example, when we started the kids business, one of the things that we wanted to do was reach our hand out of the box and say to our customers, we are so grateful that you trust us to buy overalls for your little child, to buy their first bathing suit, to buy their shoes, that we want you to know that we're parents too. And we've had the same experience, the same trepidation, and the same joy of having children. And so what we did was we printed the inside of the box with the head and the tail of a cow or a sheep or a horse so your kid could ride the Land's End box all over the house. Now, there is no focus group on the planet that would have told us, oh yeah, I'd like you to print the head and tail of an animal on your shipping boxes. But what we did was, because we started from a place of emotional connection, we started from a place of people having the same common values, these farm people. And you know, who doesn't remember playing with a box? Who hasn't ridden in a refrigerator box somewhere in their lifetime? What we were able to do was create this very clean emotional connection with the customer where they'd say, who else but Land's End would I buy from? So passion. One of the things that we know in this whole customer game is you have to become a beacon of hope. Who of us hasn't been on our third or fourth gasp of being customer focused, right? Who hasn't gotten a crystal ball with the word customer etched in it? Or some companies I've seen, they hand out dolls with the word customer on it. As you have your monthly meetings and your quarterly reports, just listen to what's being asked about. It's usually sales, products, product development. When do we talk about customers? Customers coming and going as the asset of our business. And so if you can start getting your CEOs and your board to ask and answer these 5 questions, what happens is this starts to become part of the language of the business. So customer math is really about thinking first and being able to ask the questions. Now, this first question is very easy because most of us are acquisition oriented in our businesses, and that's, who are our newest customers, volume and value? Now that should be pretty easy to answer, right? The question is, that may reside in a lot of pods inside of your organization. In the same breath, though, what you need to ask is, who are our lost customers? Volume and value. And the reason for that is, until you do this customer math, and you also call 100 or so customers who left every month, it's not going to be taken personally. Because the customer information, what happens in our organizations is we desensitize ourselves to the fact that these are living, breathing people. If your most profitable customers aren't recommending you at the same rate quarter after quarter, you should go back out and ask them why. Every question that's asked by your CEO and board should have the question why as a follow-up. And the reason for this is so that we get passionate about this. Because what happens with the customer work is it's another report in a meeting versus the real passion of the business. Let's say your wife wants you to buy her a pair of shoes and you're nervous already because you just don't want to buy shoes for your wife. So you call Zappos and the person there says, you know, we don't have that shoe in the size. We have it, but not in the size. But this website has it. Why don't you go buy it there? What has just happened? They are your hero. You will go back to Zappos. Zappos does something that companies don't regularly do, and that is they trust you, the customer, and they trust the front line. They believe in the front line to do the right thing. As a customer at Zappos, you have 365 days to return your shoes because they know stuff happens. All they say is wear them on the carpet and return them if they don't fit. They have doubled their sales every year for the past 6 years based on word of mouth because of these practices. The beloved companies understand that there's really three things that they operate from. It's, do you have a clear, singular focus of clarity of purpose of what you're going to be to your customers? It's not something that's jobbed out. Gary, for example, really stewed over it. We thought about what it felt when the UPS guy showed up at your door, how you would feel pulling a turtleneck over your head, and how you would feel like when you hung up the phone from talking to one of those operators. So we had a clarity of purpose, and everybody was lined up behind it. We had passion that took away all the rules and regulations. There were no talk time. We hired people and then trusted them to be themselves. 1-800-GOT-JUNK wanted to become the FedEx of junk. The FedEx of junk. Now, what does it mean if you want to be the FedEx of junk? You walk around 1-800-GOT-JUNK and everybody will tell you we're the FedEx of junk, and they're very proud of it. When you call them and you make an appointment, you call the junction, by the way. They schedule your appointment, and just like Land's End, within a 24-hour period, they tell you when they're going to show up. They have on uniforms. They call you ma'am, they sweep out your garage, they get rid of your car batteries. They donate your clothing to the societies and associations that make you feel good. And they show up, not in a rusty old truck with the muffler dripping off the side, but beautiful, shiny Isuzus, and you feel good about getting your junk removed. Who would have thunk it? And they have taken this all the way to the bank. This is about removing junk. So if they can do this with junk, just think what you can do. You'll hear about Zappos, where there's a buzz inside of this organization where they actually have to decompress call center people who come in to learn to trust themselves again outside of the regular call center arena of rules and regulation. And that passion and that purpose drives how they go out and find people. There is a higher purpose at Genentech, and it is, they call themselves in business for life. Now, yes, it's easy to have an elevated purpose when you're saving lives, but what Genentech does is goes beyond the obvious of being a cancer company, a drug company, by hardwiring in the things that they do as behaviors to build this culture. Now, they start with their purpose, which is to be in business for life, but then that informs what their people are and how they're hired. You go through 4 to 5 interviews just for culture screening at Genentech before you're hired. And that includes everyone. You can be the best physicist or researcher on the planet, and if you don't go through the set of culture screenings, you won't make it at Genentech. Did you know, for example, that 86% of customers with a positive call experience will repurchase from you again? So your call center people are actually brand preservation heroes. Every time somebody calls in, they have the opportunity to have that customer rethink how they feel about your brand. On the other hand, if you're not thinking and you're filling seats, only 37% of those customers who have a poor experience will call you again.
Who is the one person that the CEOs of Land's End, Mazda, Coldwell Banker, Allstate, and Microsoft corporations all hired to lead their customer experience and business growth? It's Jeanne Bliss. Land's End founder Gary Comer called Jeanne a powerhouse when it comes to driving customer focus. That's because she moves from passion and acts from 25 years experience inside the best and the most complex companies who want to get it right for customers.
We became one of those companies that customers love from an emotional point of view.
Her rare credentials deliver a real-world approach to all the hoopla surrounding customer focus. Jeanne brings audiences hope and inspiration fueled by action. As Jeanne says, she moves companies past the customer focus hallucination and lip service, and she does it fast.
Beloved companies achieve something that I call the stairway to desire. Now, we've all learned a lot about the word loyalty over the years, but I prefer the word desire. To be so crass, desire is the cha-ching emotion. They have doubled their sales every year for the past 6 years based on word of mouth because of these practices.
After 25 years in the corporate trenches, Jeanne expanded her crusade for customers, speaking to leaders across the U.S. and around the world. From Madrid to Montreal, from Sydney to Sao Paulo, audiences connect with Jeanne for her insight and her experience, and they love her for her unending Italian passion.
She's not just speaking. She believes it, and she's watched it work.
She's got the credentials, she's got the results, and she packages it together very, very nicely.
Customers today are lost, though, in the handoffs between our silos. We deliver experiences to our customers and wonder, why don't they like us? This is what Rackspace has been able to do, and they have grown 60% over the last 5 years by getting rid of that customer Bermuda Triangle. I don't believe that everybody needs to have a chief customer officer, but I believe that you need to have some kind of group of people overseeing and understanding on purpose the experience.
Jeanne's point of view is sought by national publications such as Business Week, Fast Company, and Chief Executive. Advertising Age offers her segment, The Customer Experience, as a regular feature on The Advertising Show, streamed online and around the world. Her book, Chief Customer Officer, is considered by many to be the resource for customer experience leadership. She is a true customer zealot, born of her passion and experience as one of the architects of the Land's End customer experience.
We go to our CEOs and try to drive this crusade for customers, and sometimes people think you're kumbaya, we are the world, let's go hug a customer. It's about growing the business based on the profitability of the company. Did you know, for example, that 86% of customers with a positive call experience will repurchase from you again?
Jeanne possesses practical and from-the-gut understanding of the corporate struggle to get it right for their customers, and it shows. With insightful examples of how corporate silos create customer experience pitfalls to intriguing case studies, Jeanne's audiences walk away with actions that work, that she has made work, that she has instigated and championed inside businesses just like theirs.
Now, what we have here is a clear illustration of what our customer sees in the operational context. Because each part of these are good, strong leaders that obviously can walk alone. But what we need inside of our businesses is to give up a little of what we own so that we can deliver a unified experience for our customer. So what I'd like you to do is turn around. Very good. Now, each of these great leaders is going to give up a little of their own walking gait to walk together, because that compromise is what these beloved companies have. So are you ready? We're going to start with our right. Ready? Right, left, right, left, right, left.
Jeanne Bliss will challenge your audience with the hard questions.
If I walked around your organization today and asked 10 people what the greater purpose is for your customers, how many answers would you get? Do you have clarity of what the end game is with customers? Are you in an early stage where you're starting to do things, an advanced stage, or a truly evolved stage?
And inspire them with the right answers.
So what we're going to talk about are these 5 companies that are beloved by their customers because of what they do, of how they manage the internal dynamics of the business. Because the reflection of our customer experience is nothing more than the reflection of our organizational dynamic and how well we are able to work with each other and how well we have lined up the metrics, the motivation, and the mechanics of our silo.
She's a great kickoff speaker. You know, those are the kind of speakers you want to either start or end a conference with, because they really, you know, they leave with a great feeling, you start with a great feeling, and, you know, that's the kind of person you want to have.
For more information on how you can arrange your own blissful experience, contact Jeanne's management team at 760-603-8110, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, Pacific Standard Time.
So what companies typically need is what I call human duct tape. This has been, for 25 years, the role that I've had inside these companies, Land's End, Microsoft, Allstate, because we don't naturally start with the experience.